Hey Ventures, thank you so much for coming back. So this whole thing with this whole passport bros thing has been all over the internet. I haven't been following the whole saga, but have I've had a couple things shared with me that kind of gives me the gist of it. And yeah, it sucks. Uh, and this is something I've been commenting on for a while since I landed. One of my first experiences when I landed in Thailand a couple months back was as I'm approaching the information booth at the airport, there was this guy, American guy that was leaving, and he leaned into the little kiosk pretty much in that woman's face, talking about prostitution is legal, Thailand, yay. So, like pretty much he was obviously super drunk, and he came to Thailand for sex tourism, and he had no there was no shame in his game, just talking about that, and that just felt so ick. And this young woman that was at the information kiosk, I would say maybe late 20s or somewhere in her 20s, maybe 30, but most likely in her 20s. And to see this grown or supposed to be grown person, I would say this guy was at maybe 40s and or 50s, and this was the interaction. It just felt like I was ashamed for him, and it was like, don't represent Americans like that, because it just felt wrong. And but that wasn't the word. That was just the tip of the iceberg, because over the weeks, actually even before I got to Thailand, this summer I was in, I'll just say, a country in Africa. And I remember one day we were just sitting at a restaurant by the ocean, me and one of the people who was traveling with me, and there was a couple that was sitting there, and the man, obviously a full grown man, like old enough to be somebody's husband, father, and has with mortgages and whatever. And the little girl with him, she looked to be about maybe 16, maybe, but I'm guessing she's probably 18, but the girl looked really young. She looked like a teenager, and it just felt so ick and so wrong to us. Um, to me as an individual, it just felt wrong. And the other lady that was with me, she is the mother of two daughters, and for her it was like she felt it as a woman, and she's looking at that girl and thinking of her two daughters who were one of them was still in her 20s, and thinking of her two children, and it just felt so wrong, and it hurt so bad. But the worst part was there was nothing we could do about it. And that's been that feeling that I've had this whole time that I've been here, because I see it on a regular basis. Some countries more than others. When I was in Thailand, I would see these people, and a lot of them, it was there. These girls are probably younger than their own daughters, because I'm looking at some of these people, and you're obviously over 50. You're obviously in your 60s, and how do you think a 20 or 18-year-old, well, it just made no sense, but to them it makes perfect sense. And one of the questions I kept, when I would talk to people, I was like, okay, what do they have in common? What do you talk about? Because a lot of times I was finding that these girls barely spoke English, and these um, males did not speak any language other than English. And sometimes they would communicate via, I guess, Google Translate and things like that. And one of my friends often would say, "Yeah, they're not talking," and it felt so sad. But for me, it felt kind of, it feels gross, because I'm looking at it as, oh man, that child is young enough to be your daughter, if not even your granddaughter. And that's the relationship. And I know some people are like, how do you know they're not related? Well, sometimes you can see the interaction, and you can tell, yeah, that's not his niece, that's not his daughter, that's someone that he, and you could, I feel the awkwardness of the girls. Sometimes you see them just kind of there, and they're doing their best to keep up appearances, because yes, they are after something and they know what they're looking for. So because of that, they're doing their best to keep up with it. But man, it is painful. It feels it's pain it looks like it's painful to them, and it's painful to the rest of us that sees it, because you're looking at it and you feel so powerless, because you see what is happening, and you realize that yes, this person is using what their opportunities, is using their privilege to take advantage of someone who's struggling. But you don't have the ability to, it's not like we could all go and be like, you know what, girl, you don't have to do this, we'll take care of you. We're not able to do that. So this, for a lot of women, is what they see as an opportunity, as a way out of whatever their situation is, and they are enduring. Like sometimes and I would see them in the hotels a lot, and it's sad. It's sad and it's infuriating. But the worst part is that it it's that feeling of powerlessness that you see. Because usually, if you're out there and you see someone hitting a person, you can speak up and say, hey, you can that like like the physical violence, it's easier to intervene. But that level of, in a way, abuse, you don't really have a way of intervening. And even if you were to speak up and say something, what are you going to say? Because the person, even though they may look like a child, because a lot of these girls look like they probably turned 18 last week, they are technically an adult, and they get to make the decision. And that is a choice, or compromise, or a decision that they're making for their future and the future of their families. And you don't get to dictate how they do it. But from the other side, it hurts. It hurts just to watch it, and just to see it, and just to notice that what these men are doing, and feel that level of, like, sometimes I'll see the girls and they don't make eye contact with anyone else. I know that in Asian countries they don't necessarily make eye contact, period, but it's not, their lack of eye contact is a little bit more prominent. You can see them trying to avoid any type of interaction with anyone else in the room. Um, it's just, I don't know. I've been talking about it since I've been here. I've shared thoughts on it with my own inner circle, but to see the internet talking about it is kind of, I guess, refreshing that attention is being brought to it. But um, unfortunately, we don't have another option for them. We don't get to say, hey, skip this whole passport bro thing, and this is the we can offer you this. We don't have another option for them. So for a lot of these girls, these passport bros are it. And as sad as it is, I guess when we see them, when we notice them, if we end up encountering them within our community, the best we can do is be supportive, be there, do what we can to make them feel like we see them. We see them as humans. We see them for the individuals that they are, and not just whatever it is that these passport bros believe that they believe them to be, or are treating them as. And hopefully over time they will be more empowered to take care of themselves, and get the respect, and get what they do, get the goodness they got coming. Because yeah, unfortunately, it is a reality. And I've seen it in I saw it in Africa. I saw it in Thailand a lot, and Malaysia I saw it quite a bit, and yeah, quite a lot of the countries that I've been to over the last couple of months, it's been it's been a thing. So hopefully a solution, a better option will be found for these girls, and they will be able to live and thrive and do what it is that they need to do for themselves. Yeah, that's my little rant. I don't even know what the purpose of this whole thing was, but that's what I had to say. So until then, bon voyage to you and to me.